Hello and welcome to the All Around Natural Beauty RN channel, where I'm passionate about helping victims of all ages and all genders overcome the fear of facing the abuse to become survivors. Because we realize that being a victim is not a choice. Like, no one chooses to be a victim, right? You're victimized, and then if you're still here, it's your obligation to society to overcome the fear of facing it so you can become a survivor and help someone else out. Help someone else not become a victim by exposing the abuse. So over here we use science, math and science to support the truth and to defend the truth. And that's what it's all about over here, is defending the truth. So we highlight a lot of the abuse that's been going on towards society by being lied to. We've been lied to for a long time, and now we're having another awakening. And if you studied history or put any in any interest into history, you'll know that like life has cycles and things repeat themselves. And even the Bible says that there is nothing new under the sun. So it's no new thing that we are where we are here today. And today we're going to be talking about all the scandals and all the corruptions that's coming out now, especially now since President Trump won. And you can see that the tone of society has changed to where more common sense is being acknowledged and people are actually standing up and supporting the truth. Because, just recently, if you stood up and tried to support the truth with math and science, in reality, you were you were viciously attacked. But I'm just excited that, because I too was quiet for a while because I was sick of the insanity that was going on. But now, we can't just be quiet and not say anything. So, talking a lot about the stuff that's going on. So, it's going to give us a heads up on our path that we're going to be taking in the future in order to get justice, because that's what this platform really was established for. We were working under the umbrella of getting justice for Shanquilla Robinson, a victim from 2 years ago, over some stuff that we weren't able to get any justice for because of, like I was telling y'all before, the current administration was putting blocks on all this stuff. And now we can see that even just after the election, that the silence that was going on as far as, like, shadow banning and keeping stuff quiet when people were speaking out and highlighting the truth is not as strong as it was before in the past. So now it's a great time to be on the side of truth, because just like the scripture says, know the truth and the truth will make you free. So over here we are about truth, justice, and the American way. So welcome to the channel. For those of you who don't know me, I'm 53. I'll be 54, y'all, on the 15th of December. So time is passing, time is going. That's why the time now is to stand up. It's time to do the thing, y'all. We've been waiting long enough, and the time is happening. I'm a proud Gen Xer, super proud of being part of that. With age comes wisdom. You've been around long enough, you'll see how things recycle, and so it kind of helps to give you answers as far as to how to respond and what to do what to do in the future and stuff like that. And in history, like I was saying too, history, it all goes together. All these dots are going to be connected together to where we can use statistics to show and prove also the truth. So today we're going to be talking about the scandal in Boston. And I'm sure a lot of you've heard recently discussions with the Tiffany Henyard and the Tisha James, all those people, all those Democrats, and not just to say all Democrats, because there are some, like I said, it's not about black, white, male, female. It's really a battle of good and evil. So there's good and evil in both genders, in all races, all nationalities. It's one has an opportunity to be wicked or good, right? And these are choices that God gives us. Universe gives you these choices. You're going to be good or evil, right? And so it's up to you to choose. So again, tying these little dots and stuff together, we're going to see a lot more of this coming out. All this exposure and stuff is coming out. And now that the new office is in control, all this corruption is a lot of it's going to be exposed. A lot of the wasting of taxpayers' money. Now we can see into city levels, states, and all kind of ways. We got crooked, corrupt mayors. We got corruption all over the place. So I'm just excited about standing up for the truth, right? Because those of us who have been victims, and those are the taxpayers, so all of us are victims from the corruption of these politicians and stuff. So today we're going to have a eye-opening awakening, because people are slowly waking up. And I did take a small break because I just wanted to give some of the people that was like having a difficult time with accepting the election results and stuff like that, and understanding that time to wake up for real and stop living in delusions and stuff. Because over here we don't do delusional thinking. So it's all about math and science and all that good stuff. So, like I said, we're going to be talking about Tania Fernandes Anderson, and she is a Boston City Councilor representing District 7, which includes Roxbury, Dorchester, Fernway, and parts of South End. She was elected in November of 21, right? During that administration and stuff. That's when President Biden and his team was letting in all of the ghosts and goblins and all of the, cricket people and stuff like that, that was promoting transgendering children. All kind of crazy insanity stuff has been going on for the last 4 years, right? So this lady, she got into office during that opportunity when it was like, all wicked apply. All wicked are welcome. Come over here and rape America, right? So anyway, all right. So she's elected November 2021, and she made history as the first African immigrant and Muslim American to serve on the council. So, so here we already see that, this is, I guess, part of the whole um, diversity, equity type stuff. They were trying to, paint this picture and stuff, like placing characters in different positions, stuff like that, right? So, she's born in Cape Verde. Fernandez Anderson immigrated to the United States at the age of 10, right? Settling in Roxbury. So she pretty much grew up here in America. Before her political career, she was the executive director of Baldwin Geneva Main Street, a nonprofit supporting small businesses. She also founded Noah's Advocate, a trauma-informed mental health nonprofit serving underrepresented communities. All right, so she's got some recent history here in politics and stuff, and the Boston City Council and Associate Press and New York Post is where I got some of this information and stuff from. So we're gonna be, I'm going to watch some of these videos and I'm going to react to it. And again, I like to tie the dots with like how all this stuff is happening now. Like, what I mean? It's all happening now. So we're going to start with our first video. And this here, we're going to go back. I like to go sometimes to the past and then kind of bounce forward because this news just broke, I think like 3 or 4 days ago. It's somewhat recent. However, I found a video that dated back more than a year, right? So that's how we know that during this, current administration that's getting ready to exit out, that a lot of wickedness, a lot of evil acts was kept undercover, were like not really looked at. So let's see here. We're gonna pull up our first video. All right, pause. All right, so first video. Let me share the screen here. All righty. All right, so this here was dated a year ago. It says City Council fined after putting son, sister on city payroll, right? So a lot of times when people get these jobs, not just the Democrats, I don't want y'all to think that I'm just going to be here pooping on Democrats. But anyway, a lot of times when people get these jobs, they, do this kind of nepotism or, friends and all that kind of stuff. This is all political. It's illegal. We're not supposed to do it, but a lot of these, people get these positions of power and they utilize it, to benefit themselves, right? So here we go. This here, let's see the correct date. All right, so this here was July 25th, 2023. So more than a year ago, it looks like they're talking about this. Okay, let's see what they say. More than a year ago.
With the city councilor, she wouldn't go on camera, but she told me she made a mistake. The State Ethics Commission leveling a $5,000 fine against Boston City Councilor Tania.
Okay, so the $5,000 fine is pretty significant right here, right? Because this is, that's the thing too. So nowadays you really can't think that you can do stuff and get away with it because everything's on video. Everything's on video and it's documented, right? And like I said, math and science here. We can't change the fact that on July 25th, 2023, this woman was already, being fined for this, right? So here is setting the stage for the crime she's going to commit.
Tania Fernandes Anderson for putting her sister and her son on the city payroll. The commission says Fernandes Anderson appointed her sister director of constituent services.
Wow.
She paid her $65,000, later raised it to $70,000 and threw in a $7,000 bonus.
Hey sis, let me go ahead and give you a raise, even though you haven't even been on the job long, but go ahead and give you a raise and a bonus? Yes, here we go.
Total salary, $77,000. The commission says in June of last year, Fernandes Anderson appointed her son office manager and paid him $52,000 a year. The next month, she raised that to $70,000.
Most of the time, you usually have to stay on your job, for like 90 days or so before you may get something out of probation. But at least a year before you get an annual review to get a legitimate raise. And look at this raise. That's pretty significant here. Let's just see that. That's like a 40% increase there. That's pretty significant there. Wow.
$1,000. The councilor ended the employment of her sister and son in August of 2022. It's the latest scandal involving a Boston city councilor in recent months. City Councilor Kendra Lara is facing criminal charges for a crash in Jamaica plane that injured her young son.
Oh, wait a minute. So this is a different person. Let's go back a wee bit here.
Councilor Kendra Lara is facing criminal charges for a crash in Jamaica plane that injured her young son. The councilor accused of speeding, driving with a revoked license.
What? A revoked license? What?
Crash in Jamaica plane that injured her young son. The councilor accused of speeding, driving with a revoked license without insurance or registration.
No insurance or registration? How? Come on now. How can you be a public service and you breaking the laws? People don't realize this is breaking the law. You're not supposed to drive without a license or registration. If your car's not registered, it's not supposed to be on the public streets. Listen to this. This person is
son in August of 2022. It's the latest scandal involving a Boston City Councilor in recent months. City Councilor Kendra Lara is facing criminal charges for a crash in Jamaica plane that injured her young son. The councilor, accused of speeding, driving with a revoked license without insurance or registration. Police say her son was not in a booster. And last month, the Ethics Commission fined Councilor Ricardo Arroyo $3,000 for representing his brother in a lawsuit against the city of Boston.
What? What are these people thinking? That no one's going to notice this? Wow. Wow. So basically, it's like musical chairs. Let's just finish this out.
Councilor Fernandes Anderson also told me she wasn't interested in politics ever again.
Wow.
She didn't elaborate on that.
All right. So a couple of years later, let's go. Yeah. Wow. 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 Okay. So you see do you see the pattern here though, right? What do all of these people have in common? You know, one Democrat, right? And then Black women. You know, women of color or people of color or whatever. So I bet you the race card is going to come up in here in one of these videos. But I just wanted to show y'all that so we can establish our timeline, right? So just like I said, math and science. So this is part of your, you know, what you put down here, the timeline, because dates, times, and all those things never change. Like, you know, 2 seconds ago already happened. We can never get that back. So the facts are things that are unchangeable. Like, can't change the fact that, like I said, July 25th, 2023, she already, you know, been exposed for giving her sister and her son, you know, good paying jobs with raises and bonuses. And, you know, after just a month of service, wow, you know, I mean, very generous there. Very generous there. Uh-oh. Not it. All right, so that's our first one there. Like I said, we putting these dots in together. So now let's go ahead and listen to, like, you know, this woman has been arrested and charged. So let's see here. All right, this is, all right, so hold on here. This is actual her arrest thing. So let's go ahead and we'll share this. And we won't tarry long, but we won't start connecting the dots and meeting together to put all this stuff together, because like I said, it's going to be more people like Fonnie Willis. They're going to come after her, Tisha James. A lot of these little ones that's already been exposed is now they about to they snatching stuff up. So here we go. Share. All right. This here was 2 days ago, and it's the Boston City Council, Tania Fernandes Anderson, arrested. Let's see here. We throw this banner up here. Copyright disclaimer. Under Section 107 of the Copyright Act, I'm so rusty. 1976, allowances is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, education, and research. So we'll just leave that up there here, and let's go back to this here criticism. Arrested. These people ain't good.
Good morning. Earlier today, Boston City Council member Tania Fernandes Anderson was arrested on federal public corruption charges. These 6 felony charges stem from an alleged kickback scheme that she orchestrated to obtain several $1,000s in taxpayer money in exchange for a bribe she paid to a staffer she gave her a very large bonus. The indictment charges Ms. Fernandes Anderson with 5 counts of wire fraud in violation of Title 18, United States Code 1343, and 1 count of theft concerning programs receiving federal funds in violation of Title 18, United States Code 666. According to the indictment that was returned by a federal grand jury earlier this week, Ms. Fernandes Anderson was facing financial difficulty in 2023. Part of that financial difficulty stemmed from a sanction that was imposed by the State Ethics Commission of $5,000 for Ms. Fernandes Anderson.
All right, so that's why I was saying pay attention to the $5,000 from back in July of 23, because here's the motive. She needed to get the 5G, so hey sis, I give you a bonus. You flush some of that back to me. So I pay the $5,000 fee, plus I get a little $2,000, cushion money for coming up with this brilliant idea.
And hiring immediate family members in her Boston City Council office.
Brilliant idea.
And in around that same time in 2023, Ms. Fernandes Anderson, the grand jury alleges, hatched this scheme to funnel bonus payments, taxpayer money into her own pocket in the tune of approximately $7,000. Specifically, despite the fact that she was under investigation by the State Ethics Commission, Ms. Fernandes Anderson hired another family member.
I know. How dumb. That's what I'm saying. Like the audacity, the boldness of these corrupt people is just like unbelievable. You're already being investigated. So why are you, you know what I mean? Like, why would you do that? They're already looking at you. You don't think it's going to look suspicious all of a sudden now your sister gets a bonus who, just showed up at work. She's got a raise, bonus, like what? Then you hire your son in the same thing? You know what I mean? Come on now. Come on.
On her staff at Boston City Hall to handle constituent services. That staff member was related to her, but Ms. Fernandes Anderson falsely represented to City Hall that there was no familial relationship. That is staff member A in the indictment. Ms. Fernandes Anderson then went on to tell that staff member A that she would give that person a $13,000 bonus. That bonus of $13,000 was more than twice as much as Ms. Fernandes was paying to the rest of her staff combined in bonuses. But that supersized bonus came with a hitch. Ms. Fernandes Anderson told staff member A that she would need to fork over $7,000 in cash back to Ms. Fernandes Anderson. Staff member A agreed. The indictment alleges that after staff member A received the deposit of approximately $10,000 after taxes in her bank account, staff member A was directed to make cash withdrawals. And she did that in the days following the receipt of the money in her bank account.
Wow.
$3,000 on May 31st, 2023, $3,000 on June 5th, 2023, and $4,000 on the afternoon of Friday, June 9th, 2023.
Wow.
And shortly after that last cash withdrawal, Ms. Fernandes Anderson and staff member A texted each other, and they arranged for a meetup in a bathroom in City Hall. That meeting happened in the bathroom around 4 o'clock or so on that Friday. And when they met inside that bathroom, Ms. Fernandes Anderson put $7,000 in cash in her pocket, the grand jury alleges.
Wow.
All of that money was funded by the taxpayers of the city of Boston.
Dang.
When faced with financial hardship and that State Ethics Commission $5,000 sanction,
$5,000.
Ms. Fernandes Anderson chose to violate her fiduciary duty and defraud the city of Boston, the indictment alleges, rather than find a legal means to pay off that debt. When her constituents elected Ms. Fernandes Anderson, she had a fundamental obligation to act with the utmost integrity.
You're stealing.
Public officials who line their pockets with taxpayer money erode the trust and confidence of the public in the officials who serve them. Public service is a privilege, And all of us in public service have a duty to act with integrity and fairness in all that we do. This office, for years, has been committed to rooting out public corruption and will continue to do so. We, alongside with our federal partners from the IRS and the FBI, investigate all allegations of public corruption, follow the facts and law where they lead, and we will hold people who abuse their power accountable. I now like to ask for Assistant
Wow. So I'm very hopeful again about, Shanquilla Robinson. A few years ago, we had saw that the FBI said there wasn't enough information, enough evidence to press any charges. But now we see that there's these dual sides in the FBI, the corrupt side and the non-corrupt. And now that we have a president that's in charge now that, anti-corrupt and actually wants to do the right thing. So all that stuff that was out there, all the evidence that was there, it didn't go anywhere. So the people just kind of bought themselves a little bit of time. But now we see that it's time to pay up.
Special Agent in charge of the FBI, Steve Kelleher, to share a few comments.
Thanks, Josh. Good morning. I'm Steve Kelleher, Assistant Special Agent in charge of FBI Boston. It's like deja vu all over again. Another Boston City Councilor is accused of embracing a culture of cashing in at the expense of the public good. Earlier this morning, the FBI arrested Tania Fernandes Anderson at her home in Dorchester for accepting $7,000 in cash in a City Hall bathroom from a member of the staff who is also a relative.
Wow.
Basically, what we have here is an elected...
And 7,000 really is not a lot of money to, ruin your career over. And then to risk, prison over as well. So, all right. Sorry about that noise.
Official pretending her motives were purely civic minded. In fact, we believe she was unlawfully conspiring to enrich herself.
Of course.
This city councilor is accused of stealing thousands of dollars from the city through not just creative, but criminal accounting. Why and how did she do it? We believe she was facing personal financial difficulty when she decided to steal money for herself in the form of a supposed bonus she had doled out to a staff member. Well, in this Commonwealth and in this country, our elected officials work for us, not the other way around.
Okay.
Using public office for personal gain is a crime, plain and simple.
All right.
The behavior we allege...
So Fonnie Willis, Letitia James, all those people, Tiffany Henyard, all those people are guilty of this here. So I don't know. I'm anticipating seeing a lot of them going to be scapegoats, since this isn't new. This isn't new stuff that people are doing, exploiting and misappropriating funds and stuff like that. This isn't new stuff. It's just now, it's like, let me get off here real quick. When I was a kid, we played this one game. Like I said, I'm 54. Not yet, but in a couple of weeks, I'm nearly 54. Anyway, back on Gen X, right? So Gen X, we did a lot of games where we kind of used our brains. Anyway, so this one game we played, it was mostly at birthday parties, but it was called musical chairs. And so the concept is that there's one less chair per participant. So if there's 5 people, there's only 4 chairs. The music plays and you have to kind of march around the chairs. And then when the music stops, you have to find a chair to sit in. So if there's no chair for you to sit in, you're out. And that's pretty much like how this is kind of going now. Like, this whole time, everybody being corrupt, everybody being greasy and just getting a little, getting the thing done and stuff like that. Like, she had to learn this from somebody. She didn't just come up with this. Like, this kind of stuff been going on. Just happened to be when the music stopped, there wasn't a chair for her to sit in. So, and they got to make examples because they got to show now that with this new administration in the office, that corruption just doesn't, happen. And then they'll, clean up crime for a little minute. And then whenever the other team gets back in there, they open up the gates and let crime rise. That's just kind of how it's been going, over here since the Revolutionary War. Anyway, let's go on back to here. Back to my thing. Okay, here we go.
Today's indictment is a slap in the face of the hardworking taxpayers in the city of Boston who have every right to expect that the city's coffers are in good and honest hands. Nobody is picking on Tania Fernandes Anderson and her inner circle. We believe this is a situation of her own making. The FBI is working hard every day to battle public corruption and the corrosive damage it does to people's faith in government. We must hold public officials to high ethical standards, and we will hold them to obeying federal law. We ask anyone with knowledge of wrongdoing by public officials to call the FBI or share information online at tips.fbi.gov. My thanks to the agents, analysts, accountants, and attorneys who have worked very hard over the last year to advance this investigation, specifically FBI Boston's Public Corruption Squad, the prosecution team here at the U.S. Attorney's Office, and our colleagues at the IRS. Their continued partnership and support are greatly appreciated. I'll turn it over to the IRS for comments.
Good morning. My name is Jonathan Wadaka. I'm the acting special agent in charge
So
for
we just
IRS
play
criminal.
all of this. I'm not going to be long today, but let's see here. Let me stop sharing this. I'm gonna show a couple other things, and then I'm gonna tie a couple of things together, and then we'll keep an eye on this. But we'll keep an eye on it. All right. So our next, our last little something here. Yeah. Here we go. We'll just play a couple of quick ones.
Charges for allegedly organizing a bribery scheme. As you can imagine, constituents are really sounding off about her arrest. Our Mary Marcos is live in Roxbury with more on what they have to say. And Mary, of course, this isn't the first time that District 7, has seen their councilor face federal corruption charges.
It's not, Darren. You know, Tania Fernandes Anderson has a lot of firsts on the Boston City Council. She is the first Muslim, the first African immigrant, and the first formerly undocumented immigrant to serve. But she's not the first.
Wow. Formerly undocumented. That's kind of see how the media still try to be sneaky with their little wordplay and stuff, right? So why did they say she was formerly undocumented? So it could be more of this tension on these getting these immigrants out, so people could be outraged and be like, "How this immigrant getting a council job?" Anyway, she got her citizenship in like 2019 before the elected position of this council job in 2021. I just thought it was kind of weird that she would have to make the statement that formerly undocumented
to be federally indicted. Tania Fernandes Anderson pleaded not guilty to 6 federal corruption charges at the Moakley Courthouse in the Seaport Friday. The Boston City
trying to act like she's not fazed at all, that the cameras are all up in her face, because she did dismiss or fire, let go her sister and her son. So that was like a year and a half ago. So this whole time she probably been thinking like, I'm good. I let the people go. So, I'm still just working here. I just, maybe they won't realize that, this money, it's happened or whatever like that. So I'm sure this was, maybe a surprise to her as well.
City Councilor is accused of lying about onboarding a relative in 2022 after the State Ethics Commission fined her $5,000 for hiring her sister and her son earlier that year.
So that's all right. I'll just get y'all to pay the money. I'll just take the money from the taxpayers and then pay it to, there we go.
Federal investigators say Fernandes Anderson was struggling to make rent and car payments on top of the ethics fine. The 45-year-old allegedly gave her staffer a $13,000 bonus, taking $7,000 cash as a kickback, which they exchanged in a City Hall bathroom. This is not the first time the Boston City Council has seen federal corruption charges. In 2008, a councilor for the same district was charged with attempted extortion. Chuck Turner accepted a $1,000 bribe from a nightclub owner looking for a liquor license. Constituents say hearing of more corruption doesn't come as a surprise.
Wow.
You know, I don't know who's for the taxpaying citizen
Me either.
of this country, of this state.
It's every day, B. It's every day. That's what goes on. That's what goes on every day. It just sucks that it's part of our city, but that type of stuff happened every day. She's just the one that got caught.
She just the one that didn't have a seat when the music stopped. So now it's time. Like, they need these scapegoats. They need people to. They need to show that they prosecute people and that you'll go to jail. But, you know, there's people that's still currently doing this right now. Now that, you know, we just put you under the spotlight because when the music stopped, you didn't have a chair.
Now, the counselor is due back in court in January. Some of those constituents we spoke to are echoing her colleagues' calls for her to resign in the meantime. Live in Roxbury, Mary Marcos, NBC 10 Boston.
Well, this is developing right now. We're still following the.
Sorry. Wow. Yeah. So we see that, you know, corruption is nothing new. Nothing new here. Here's one. This is the last one. Then I won't wrap it up. Share.
Corruption charges. She is facing several accusations, including organizing a bribery
I wonder
scheme.
if that's
As you can imagine, her arrest has garnered plenty of reaction from the Boston political scene. We'll get to some of that reaction in just a moment, including calls for hers to resign. But first, NBC 10's John Maroney breaks down the charges Fernandes Anderson is facing. He's live outside federal court. John?
Corey, the city councilor is free tonight. She is facing some pretty serious charges, but this afternoon in court, she pleaded not guilty to all of them.
Councilor, the mayor is asking you to resign.
Boston City Councilor Tania Fernandes Anderson leaving federal court, charged in a bribery scheme that investigators say resulted in the exchange of cash in a City Hall bathroom.
Nobody is picking on Tania Fernandes Anderson and her inner circle. We believe this is a situation of her own making.
He said that because he want to make sure that they can't throw the race card in there. We're not just picking on her. But watch. I mean, that's the only defense. We got to throw the race card in there because
the 45-year-old counselor is accused of giving a staff member who's also a family member a $10,000 bonus in 2023 after taxes. Authorities say the staffer then returned $7,000 in cash to the counselor, pointing to this text exchange on the day of the alleged transaction. The staffer bathroom, Fernandes Anderson, ready.
As alleged, not only was these taxpayers' funds being stolen, but it was happening right in the building where she works. So, from my personal opinion, I think it adds the egregiousness of this.
I wouldn't steal air. They gonna catch you.
Conduct.
The 11-page indictment charges 6 felony counts. Fernandes Anderson is alleged to have devised the plan because she needed the money after she was fined $5,000 by the State Ethics Commission for hiring 2 family members illegally. Authorities say she lied about her relationship with the staffer involved in the bribery scheme as well. The defendant left court surrounded by a crush of media and a small group of supporters.
How about you? Do you have anything you want to say? We have nothing to say to you guys. What we have to say, there's a lot of corruption amongst the Caucasians in the city.
Now the city councilor was released without any bail. She'll be back in court on January.
Caucasians are corrupt. They just had a chair when the music stopped.
January 29th. Live in Boston, John Maroney, NBC 10 Boston.
John, thank you. Today's announcement sent shockwaves throughout City Hall as fellow councilors react to the serious charges. NBC 10 political reporter Matt Pritchard continues our team coverage with what the councilors are saying tonight. Matt?
Yeah, Corey, there was certainly a heaviness in the air at City Hall today. Many of the council colleagues of Tania Fernandes Anderson reserving judgment, but those calls.
Because probably some of them are guilty too. So it's like, I don't want to say nothing because, pot can't really call the kettle black. And this, hopefully they don't really look in on me because most of these people, that's why these whistleblowers and stuff get, fired or put out and nobody listen to them because it's usually more people will succumb to the corruption by getting these payouts and stuff. So if you got like, an extra $2,000 or $3,000 for, just being the one to get the check, people greed,
For resignation and added investigation are already coming. Days of waiting culminating in an arrest. District 7 Boston City Councilor Tania Fernandes Anderson facing wire fraud and theft charges tied to an alleged kickback scheme involving a relative working on her staff.
It's alarming and disturbing, right, that if we're using our power for personal gain.
Boston City Councilors reacting to the news.
It's very clear from talking to residents that they think that she can no longer serve in this role.
It's necessary for Councilor Fernandes Anderson to resign.
Boston Mayor Michelle Wu saying the same, writing in a statement, quote, the serious nature
Michelle Wu
of these charges undermine the public trust. I urge Councilor Fernandes Anderson to resign. Now, Council President Rusi Louijean also calling for Fernandes Anderson to step aside.
I'm also calling for a...
They say, look, step aside because you bring too much heat. Step aside.
Standalone City Council Ethics Committee.
Keep in mind, Councilor Fernandes Anderson previously faced an ethics investigation for hiring family members and granting raises. I asked councilors if that limits the shock value of this moment.
Whether things are surprising or not is not for me to decide. That's for the legal process to decide what is justice.
When I came onto the city council, there had already been the issue, the ethics issue.
Now, one area of mutual concern, the distraction this creates within city council.
I think all of us know exactly what we need to do for our constituents, and we'll continue doing that.
And we just have to continue to do our job.
He looks scared. People looking scared around here. Okay, so that's that. I think I had like one little last one to show. All right, this is it here, and then I'm on the. Oh, okay. So this here was a little bit older too. Okay, and this is her voicing her political views and stuff like that. So that's why I'm saying that it's significant that some of these people are being exposed now because they're on the opposite end of the incoming administration. So we see how they treated, truth and math and science with the outgoing administration. So it's only befitting that these guys reap what they sow as well. All right, so this here is from almost a year ago, December 26, 2023. This is anti-Semitic pride, right?
People watching. There's the media here. I'm glad they're on the side that's on my good side.
Wow.
On October 18, 2023, Boston City Councilor Michael Flaherty proposed the following.
That resolved that the Boston City Council expresses solidarity with the state of Israel.
This is how other members of the Boston City Council responded.
It's pretentious and it's horrible. And just a point of order.
Tania. That's her.
Responded.
It's pretentious and it's horrible. And just a point of order. So if one councilor objects to voting today, it has to be sent to committee. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay. I'm plan on objecting.
Councilor Tania Fernandes Anderson countered with her own resolution calling for a ceasefire.
Myself as a Muslim anti-Semite. And so today,
says she's a Muslim anti-Semite. So she's against Wow. Wow.
I would like to read it onto record so that there is no confusion about what this document is asking for. The resolution calling for an immediate de-escalation and ceasefire in Israel and occupied Palestine. Hamas, a Palestinian militant group, launched a massive military operation.
This resolution is flawed. Militant group, it's a terrorist group, launched a massive military operation. It's a terrorist operation. There that we're at that rock concert, that we're having a fun time, that are being raped now. Let's return them, and then we'll talk about a ceasefire.
We only talk about people with money and influence, but you only get up for your self-interest. Like, oh my God, it's disgusting. These people are political animals. It's for their interest. This has nothing to do with religion. This has nothing to do with anti-Semite, and Arabs are Semite. It's ridiculous. Up with your political bullshit.
Wow.
Stop talking, Flaherty. I'm on the mic because I'm quite sure there's a lot of people watching.
Sorry. Wow. So anyway, there's a lot more, information that we need to kind of dig up on. I had never heard of this woman until, earlier today. And, but I'm just, I'm just very, interested now to see how all these, things are being popped out and exposed. So like I was saying a little bit earlier, there's obvious good and evil all over. So those FBI agents that, told us a couple years ago that there was no justice for Shanquilla Robinson, there's good ones that's out there now that we need to still continue to speak and, get our justice. Like, I'm just excited because it's just hope. It's just exciting to see that there's some hope out there. So for those of you who haven't already, please like and subscribe. And I promise to stand for truth, justice, and the American way. And I'll see y'all in another video too. So like I said, I got some dots to connect and stuff too. It's just me kind of putting my toe back off into the water, but I'm just excited because all that stuff that I was telling you about, Bonnie Willis and Tiffany Henry, all those people and stuff like that. Like, watch. You'll see it's going to be an overall overhaul. And they're going to be turning the music off. It's going to be a lot of people, Democratic people, without a chair to sit in. They're going to be the scapegoats to, show the American people, because America needs to see some people being held accountable for some stuff. So they're about to do it now. So all those people that's been doing this wickedness, getting away with stuff, hiding stuff. There was a case, Fonnie was made to produce records that she had been, holding back and stuff like that. So folks are starting to realize that y'all not above the law. You're not above the law. Like, the law is the law. The Constitution is the Constitution. And, now it's time for math and science to, get back in control here. So join me next time when we continue to discuss and put together our agenda for what we're going to be asking when the new administration come up in here. So we getting our stuff together now. We see that the new administration has empathy for victims and stuff like that. So, and then to all the little transgender stuff, all that stuff. It's time to fight. It's time to fight for our children. It's time to fight for our women and fight for our men too, right? We're gonna fight for everybody. Fighting for all. All right. Love y'all. See y'all in another video. Peace and love.